This podcast is part of a series of podcasts designed to help you begin preparation for the upcoming exam diet. In this podcast, we will look at strategies you can employ to help you tackle the actual exam. We will also look at coping with nerves, as this can play a huge part in the revision process. Having a strategy for how you're going to approach the actual exam will make you feel more confident. The next 3 points will discuss ways in which you can do this. You have to make sure you understand a question before you attempt to answer it. You should read the instructions several times and choose the questions you will answer at the beginning. Pay close attention to the instructions. If you're told to answer 2 questions, then answer 2 questions. If there are different sections, have you been asked to answer a certain number of questions from each section? Are the questions worth an equal amount of marks? As you answer the question, refer back to the wording. Notice the key words and phrases in the question and make sure you use them in your answer. Remember, you have to answer the question set. Write a plan for each of your answers before you start writing. In the plan, you can write basic bullet points, the structure your essay will take, which order your points and arguments will come in, and which points you want to include. This way you can refer back to the plan and make sure you don't miss anything. It is also a good way of getting a lot of information down in case your mind goes blank later. Timing is very important in an exam. You don't want to lose marks because you've run out of time and didn't get to finish your answers. If you spend the first 5 to 10 minutes looking over the paper, this can also help calm you. You can plan out how much time to spend on each section at this stage. For example, if the exam is 2 hours long and you have to answer 3 questions which are worth equal marks, then you should know that you have approximately 40 minutes per question. You have to carefully monitor your time in exams so that you don't run out of time before you have answered all the questions you have decided to answer at the beginning. You also want to be able to review your answers at the end to see if there's anything you can add or if there are any minor errors that you can correct. You should also allocate 5 to 10 minutes for this if possible. Looking at the marks allocated to each question will help you decide how long you should spend on it and how long your answer should be. If all the questions are worth equal marks, then you know you should write approximately the same amount and spend the same amount of time on each question. It can be very tempting to put down all the information that you know about a topic and have put a lot of effort into learning. However, you won't get any marks for it if it isn't relevant to the question being asked. Pay attention to the details of the question. What is the main topic? What is it that you're being asked to focus on? Have you to give an overview of the topic, or is it just a specific element? Also, pay attention to the wording of the question. What have you got to do? Have you to discuss or compare and contrast something? Try and become familiar with the words used in exam papers by looking at past papers. Spend time deciding which questions you can best answer at the beginning. Answer exactly what the question asks you. Do not simply regurgitate everything you can remember. You should also try to structure your exam in the same way that you would structure an essay, with clear sentences and paragraphs, and an introduction, main body, and conclusion. Nerves can play a big part in the exam process. Everyone gets them to some extent, and the trick is to know how to deal with and cope with your own nerves and feelings about the exam. There are many ways you can try and alleviate some stress when an exam is approaching. These are just some ideas that you can consider. The important thing is to recognise your achievements and take breaks when you need it. Often taking a break from study can cause guilt, as you may feel you should be studying constantly. But breaks are really important, and you'll be able to relax and enjoy them more if they're part of your revision timetable. When an exam is coming up in a few days' time, this is generally when you begin to feel increased stress levels. This stress may use up the energy you need for revision. In order to combat this, you can start making lists, prioritising topics, and deciding how long you'll spend on them. You could also try testing yourself to see how much you know and what you still have to work on. Seeing what you still have to do, written down in a clear way, may help calm you and enable you to go on with active study rather than worrying about it. Nerves during the exam may cause you to feel panicked, making your mind go blank or making you misread questions and instructions and ultimately wasting time. To help with this, try to regulate your breathing, taking slow, deep breaths. This pumps oxygen around your body and will help you begin to feel calm again. If you know you're prone to becoming quite nervous during the exam, Try to practice some relaxation techniques beforehand that you can then employ during the exam. Start writing about what you know best first. This will help calm you and relax you into your academic style of writing. If you would like to look into different relaxation techniques and ways to cope with stress, then please follow these links, which give more advice in this subject. Hopefully you should feel more ready to make plans for your exam diet now. For more advice and academic skills support, please contact the Learning Development Centre. Our details can be found on the LDC community page on GCU Learn.